Alright, hello everybody. In today's video we are going to be discussing the uptick in severe weather likely heading into next week from the north central plains where things have already been active, but also to the Great Lakes and the Northeast where many of you are probably watching from here in Pennsylvania. So it's been pretty quiet, I'd have to say, the past really month or so. We've had a few flash flooding events and there's been a few damaging wind and hail events, but really this severe weather season's been pretty quiet. At least here in Pennsylvania and much of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, we haven't seen many tornadoes compared to average, and but it finally looks like we're going to have one of those active periods heading into early next week, and probably beyond that, actually, but really starting early next week. We do have a slight risk tomorrow in Western PA, but I think things will really start getting consistently going by the time we get into early next week. So while there is no highlighted area for 15% on this SPC4 day 4 to 8 map, they do know that there will be multiple shortwave impulses migrating across from the north central plains to the northeast US. And that is likely to, increase some severe probability, early next week this would be, and it will likely produce, maybe some slight risks, I'd say. Marginal to slight, maybe we could get an enhanced here and there, if things really come together. But at this point, when there's been such a little activity, this is, it's something to look forward to if you are interested in storms. And you can see this by the CPC, Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day outlook. You can see above average precipitation. It's been so hot and dry. Now, while the heat will continue, it finally will be partnered with some instability, and that's where we'll see these, severe weather potentials pop up. Heading into early next week, you can see that area of above average precipitation really ranges from much of the north central plains to nearly the entire eastern US, including all of the mid-Atlantic and northeast. But with that bullseye in the Ohio Valley, and then, we'd still have some high probabilities heading into just much of the Great Lakes and the mid-Atlantic, which is where many of you are probably watching from. So now let's look at the European model. You can see, of course, it's been really dry. Here comes that moisture on Thursday that is likely to produce some storms in Ohio and Western PA. You can see that here. I wish we had a few more models here on this site parameters here as far as severe weather. But you can see there is some instability. These are probably going to be some late night storms in Western Pennsylvania, late Thursday night heading into early Friday morning. Unfortunately for those looking for some storms Friday, it doesn't look like that's going to really materialize, as there is not even a marginal risk at this point in, anywhere in Pennsylvania or the Mid-Atlantic regardless. So we're not looking at too much likely on Friday. However, once again, there could be a marginal risk maybe could pop up in our area on Friday. But actually let's switch over. Well, I don't think that, this site has really any other parameters, even when going over the GFS. But anyways, let's just look at Cape for now. And then it does have the instantaneous flash rate, which is alright for finding where you're going to have some storms. But also you can look at the KNX. It's not particularly impressive. There could be maybe some storms in Virginia on Friday, but in Pennsylvania, not too impressive. But anyways, let's get into early next week. Let's get into the time that we are really concentrating on. This weekend should be mostly dry. There could be a few pop-up showers and storms, but this is what they mean by, those shortwaves coming across. Shortwaves, there's going to be some cold fronts. You can see this sweeping through the Great Lakes on Monday, maybe. Just some weak cold fronts, but it doesn't take too much to spark some severe storms off of those cold fronts. Now, it doesn't look too impressive on this precipitation map, but you can see that, potentially goes through with some storms on Monday evening. And then another one comes through here heading into mid next week. So now back to the severe weather parameter. You can see there is some decent instability heading into early next week. Let's look at Monday. This would be a central mid-Atlantic, southern PA deal on Monday if that were to be anything. But that pretty much looks like probably like a marginal, maybe slight risk. It's hard to tell just when you're only looking at the Cape and the KNX. Once again, I wish this site had other things like lifted index and all kinds of stuff, but we'll have to wait for the short range guidance to come out on that. But anyways, you can see that continues into Tuesday, now Tuesday we're not looking at too much of a threat. Once again, maybe some scattered showers into the storms. But then the real threat comes Wednesday, heading into Thursday is probably another decent day. So this is kind of getting out there. But anyways, all I'm trying to say is that there will be some potential for severe storms, probably really be at least starting on Monday, and then it could continue from there. So I'd say we will probably see a few marginal risks, a few slight risks, and maybe we'll get to an enhanced risk one of these days. But the point is that it's been really quiet lately. So at least we do have some activity to look forward to here in the Northeast or Mid-Atlantic, at least if you like storms. Now, if you don't like storms, you've been liking it recently, but, and, this does not only include flash flooding, but also, now, with these short waves and with these weak cold fronts, you'd probably be looking at more so damaging wind threat, which is typical for severe storms anyways, in much of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. But we'll take it. It's better than nothing. There could be some hail, of course, and the more intense storms, and we'll have to see if there's any kind of tornado threat when we get into next week. But for now, that's how things are looking heading into early next week. And I keep saying early next week, but it's really most of next week. We could be looking at, several risks for severe storms across the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, Great Lakes, North Central Plains. So that's how things are looking, everybody. Stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to subscribe for many more updates like this, and stay safe.